Welcome to EFT Nation, your home for all things tapping. For show notes and resources, please visit EFTtappingtraining.com. We are your tapping hosts. I'm Alina Frank.
And I'm Craig Wiener. The information provided in this podcast is not a substitute for counseling or medical advice. The information presented here is meant to inspire and educate listeners, but are not guarantees of any kind.
Okay, so we got a meaty topic today. Money.
Yes, we're talking about the money podcast issue.
World. Yeah. Yeah.
Money or lack of.
Right?
Right? Feeling like there's not enough.
Feeling like there's not enough.
Tappable issue?
Absolutely.
Definitely a tappable.
So let's go through some guidelines of, just kind of areas that you can explore when you're tapping around this, because I think a lot of people get confused on what to actually tap on.
Okay, so we'll give some guidance and some hows. And how does somebody even know where to start, right? All their feelings like, I don't have enough of that. My life is not representing abundance and flow in the money, and I have more than I need. And so most people are not there, and they're on some level of, I need more than what I have. And what I have right now is definitely not enough.
Right.
Where do you start with that?
Right. Well, you start where you're at. I mean, we're big believers in like starting exactly where you're at on it. And one of the ways to work on it is to work on how you feel about where your current money situation.
Okay. I hate it. Even though I hate my money situation.
Well, wait, our big motto is to get specific. So what do you mean by that, Craig?
I feel like, I'm worried what amount will be in my account around the first of the month when mortgage is due, because, we're independent practitioners and, this isn't true for me, but I'm just making it up. In other words, a lot of people feel the stress of the rent, the stress of the mortgage, coming the end of the month, and is the money going to be there to pay the bills, right?
So I want you to think about you. Okay. Where would you be sitting down to look at payments or accounts?
Yeah. Okay. So I can just imagine that I'm sitting at my desk because I got like a stack where I keep my bills.
Yep.
And looking at that, and maybe it's the 31st and going, looking at my checking account. Okay. Can't pay that. Gonna have to push that back and check back in a few days.
Great. And how does that make you feel thinking about that?
Oh my God, that feels awful. It's an awful feeling. It feels like a failure.
Great. 0 to 10 on the feeling awful?
Yeah. Feeling awful, 9.5.
Where do you feel in your body, if anywhere?
Oh, it's like this bottomless pit in my stomach.
Great. Now we have all the elements to do a successful setup statement and reminder phrase on this particular aspect of the big global piece of my money situation. I'm worried about it. The paying of the mortgage and all of that. I've got a concrete example of that. And once you get going, other things will pop into your mind that are connected. That's the beauty of
I could easily see the brain going to, okay, and there's another bill, and there's another something that I want to have, but I can't have because there's not enough right now.
Right. But, and the juiciest part is when you start remembering things in your past that make this so.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So like other times when I had to actually miss a payment, maybe.
Yeah, or bounce a check with a mortgage company or with the leasing company.
Oh, and then the late fees and all. Sure.
And the late fees, all of that. So, I could be working, when I was working with clients, and I'm just thinking of one in particular that it was around this situation and the hairball of like paying bills and all of that. And we found in actual memory when she was about 8 years old, having to be the one to go out and talk to creditors. When they knocked on the door.
At 8 years old?
Yeah, parents couldn't deal with it, and they sent this cute 8-year-old because they thought that would work. So you can imagine what that would set up for them.
Yeah, and I can imagine that money issues can feel like a forest. There's so many examples in a person's life of when there wasn't enough, or they faced a challenge, or were embarrassed because they bounced the check, just all those situations as far as lacking sufficient money.
Well, that's a good place to, if you really want to work on this and you really are concentrating on turning it around, I suggest absolutely writing down that past money history. We do an exercise in in the money mastery workshop that we do, where it's money represented as a river. Mm-hmm. And so knowing those specific times when that river was just a trickle, or it had boulders in the way where it was dammed up, and it's just finding those events where that happened can absolutely influence what you're able to make now.
Do you have to tap on every single time that you felt in order to really shift this or change this? Do you have to tap on every single feeling like a failure experience?
No, this is the misconception. There's something called the generalization effect that takes place, which is you don't have to necessarily tap on every event related to this in order to start seeing shifts pretty quickly in your reality.
Yeah, there's actually an EFT languaging discourse, we talk about a tabletop, right? The tabletop is like my challenging issue with not having enough money.
Right, my money issues.
Right, it's just kind of like this big thing. But what holds up that tabletop as being a viable existing problem are those table legs. And the table legs, right, they each represent the different experiences or circumstances that I've had that make that to be a problem, that kind of keep that afloat, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to chop down every single table leg to have the tabletop come crashing down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So early events around money or wealth or things that have to do with material possessions. I mean, things like not getting a Barbie on Christmas. That one showed up for me when I was working on all of these things. So, go back and listen to How to Be Specific and why we focus on the negative with EFT in our previous podcast to get the concept here that our natural birthright is to be healthy, abundant, prosperous, in good relationships. And we're just getting all of the gunk out of the way in order for us to actually be living into that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Feeling good about your current, here's the thing. You're not going to go jumping on the roof and screaming, yay, I feel so great about my money situation. That doesn't need to happen in order for you to turn things around. You need it to be more neutral. Getting to a place of looking at your money situation and not being terrified or panicky about it or sad or feeling like a failure or feeling ashamed around it is getting to a place of neutrality, and that changes everything.
And you could take like one experience, and can't there be many different emotions that you have about one? I mean, if I think about, let's just say, we'll just say a bounce check or something like that, or a missed payment, whatever. And there could be shame.
Yep.
There could be anger at myself.
Right.
There could be anger at my parents for not having taught me how to balance a checkbook.
Right.
There could be frustration with the company because they didn't give me that. So any one event, remember, you could have all these different aspects and all these different emotions and parts, just even around one particular event. And the thing that I like is you think, okay, one particular experience, oh my God, I'm going to be here forever. But the power of really thoroughly working all those different parts or aspects of one event is that many of those aspects will kind of globalize to a lot of other situations. So there might have been another one that had nothing to do with a bounce check, but that there was also still shame, or also still anger about, or also still frustration with somebody involved. And so they can start to have that spreading effect across a wider area.
Yeah. Yeah. So working, let's just go through some principles of working with money and EFT. So the first one is tapping on how you feel about the situation now. Right. 2 is going through your money history and looking at events in your life that, you feel are still bothering you, upsetting, have some negative emotions attached to it to get to neutralize. So the other thing I think is really important, so 3 here on, and it could even be like the top one, is the deserving piece. That is so huge. So
the underlying feeling of I don't deserve to have it.
I deserve to get 100,000, but not make 500,000. Okay. I deserve to make 500,000, but I don't deserve to make $1 million.
So there's like a deserving ceiling.
Yeah, there must be something I need to do more of, or I can't just make it because I want it and
because I want it, because I have to somehow have
earned it. Yes.
Or the key is tried or worked hard enough.
Oh my gosh.
I see that all the time.
Well, right? Yeah. Clients, we were very guilty of that.
And personally, for me, being like, if I was not trying, like if it came easy, that was good, but there was really like a lot more satisfaction if I worked really hard and then got it. And then you have to look at that. Right. It's like, where did that come from?
Exactly. So where did that come from? The idea that you don't deserve. So again, writing that list of events that make you feel like I don't deserve to make more. I don't deserve to just live abundantly and attain the things that I want to.
Yeah, we talk about those as limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Or limiting negative beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? And where those come from are from our past experiences, and the most powerful ones come from childhood, because they're like so ingrained in our experiences that they don't even feel like a belief anymore.
It's just the way things are.
It's just the way things are. It's like a fact. Well, you do have to work hard to have anything good. You can't, if you're from this background, ever have anything good. So these beliefs become truisms because they're so well evidenced and experienced in our life that they become, they're written in stone.
Right. All right. So deserving is another one. And another one is the sphere of change factor.
That's a biggie.
So if I change, let's say that suddenly I'm making, $10 million a year. I'm making $10 million a year. My life is going to change so radically. What's the downside, or what of the
downside? Are you kidding? That's amazing. Who doesn't want to make $10 million a year? Are you kidding me?
Will you still have the same friends? Will they still like you? Will some people in your family use you? Will they say, will your money evaporate because of all the needs that you have, taking care of other people?
Or as soon as I start thinking about it too, I start getting scared that I won't handle it well.
Right. I could lose it.
I'll start to lose it.
Yeah, I'll make 10 million, no problem, but then I'll lose it all.
And I'm already feeling angry how much the IRS is going to take away from it.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, all of a sudden, just as I start to tune into the possibility of that much, there's all these all these little cockroaches of thoughts start coming in about that, start niggling away at it.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's the part of the process is to just start where you are, and instead of tapping on the positive kind of icing on a pile of dung, it's still going to stink. Instead of doing that, you can positive.
What do you mean by that? You're using a story they don't know.
Okay. So it's putting lipstick on a pig is another way of saying it. And it's just to sugarcoat what is happening, is to slap on an affirmation that's not landing. And in EFT, we use positive tapping in a way that the general public really doesn't understand, which is we're tapping to tune you in. So if you can come up with a statement of, I make $10 million every year doing work that I love, working with a beautiful work-life balance. Okay, let's